What is up, MoYak family? Glad to see you guys. What's up, Josh, man? How are you doing?
Doing good, doing good. Glad that everybody's here, ready to get this party started.
Yeah, man, we got a good show lined up. Good guy that we are interviewing and talking to, and excited to get into that. Let's get into our announcements and some other stuff. Truman Lake, man, tell me some good news.
Yeah, we're on. Truman Lake, we are good to go. June 27th, we are going to have that tournament up there at in Clinton, Missouri at Everhart's Outdoors. We are good to go for the live event. We've got an awesome menu of food planned out for everybody. We've got raffles. We're going to give away everybody's membership packets. If you've got a shirt coming or a hat coming, you're going to get all that stuff. So pretty excited to get up to Truman and get this thing going. It's going to be a pretty special event. Not only are we, going to raffle away a bunch of cool stuff, but, Everhart's is donating a brand new Canoe Pursuit, neon green. And this thing is sweet. It's got the aftermarket black deck kit put on it. He's got the brand new swivel seat that rotates all the way around. I mean, this is a neat kayak, and it's worth a lot of money. We're going to give it away to anybody that shows up to come fish. It's a MoYak member. All MoYak members are going to get raffle tickets. So we'll be raffling off a canoe or a kayak, a new canoe kayak as well. We're also going to be doing the best damn tackle box. Glad to bring that back. That's been a long time MoYak tradition. That's something where we have a box of tackle, and to enter in this drawing to win that box of tackle, all you need to do is bring a piece of tackle to donate, kind of like a canned good drive where you bring a canned good, bring a fishing lure. Oh, excuse me. So bring a fishing lure, throw it in the box. We're going to give you a raffle ticket, and then we're going to draw a name, and the winner is going to take that entire box of tackle home with you. I mean, sometimes we've seen that look almost around $300 worth of tackle in this box. It's pretty cool. So we'll be doing that. We'll be doing that at Truman too.
It's really interesting to see what guys put in there, because sometimes it's some of their good stuff that they may have just gotten. Other times it could be just their random stuff that I don't really use this, but it's really cool to see what anglers put in there. The Missouri May bracket, man. Richie McMichael, congratulations, man. He tore it up. He put him on me, man. I think I worried him for a little bit, but just not enough, man. But that we've got to do that next year. Do it, and maybe, I don't know, earlier, maybe during the wintertime when there's not as much stuff going on. That was a great time. Thanks for putting that on, Josh.
Yeah, I mean, it looked like everybody had a great time. You guys really duked it out. You and Richie took it. I mean, you guys went through all those guys one round at a time, all the way to the final, and you guys still both put up decent limits at the end. And yeah, Richie McMichael, he came out on top. He's going to get his prize at Truman Lake too as well. I got that here. We're going to give away all the past awards that we've missed due to these, the COVID shutdown stuff. For Lake of the Ozarks, and Table Rock, if you came in the top 3, we've got a trophy for you. So this year we're doing top 3 trophies. They're really cool wooden cedar carved trophies that have got the lake on. Oh man, wait till you guys see these trophies. They're going to be pretty sweet. So we'll be handing out all those trophies that we have missed, at Truman as well. So
that's cool, man. Definitely a lot of exciting stuff going on right now in MoYak, and looking forward to Truman. Talking about this weekend, we're going to go floating, man. What's going on with that?
Yeah, if the weather holds out, which hopefully it will, we're going to finally be able to get together and have a little meet and greet. We're going to meet up at the river on the James River. We're going to do a river cleanup and a float trip, just real laid back. Anybody can come. Bring your wife, bring your kids, bring your husbands, bring your family, bring everybody. And all we're going to do is we're going to meet up at the Hootentown access point. It's there. It's just south of Nixa a little bit. It's up on the map on the Facebook page, but if you're not familiar with that area. And then we're going to shuttle ourselves. We're going to go upstream. We're going to go up to the Delaware Town access, and we're going to float down, pick up trash along the way. It's a really good stretch to fish, so we're going to catch some fish. If you're curious about how kayak tournaments work, or there's going to be a lot of experienced kayak tournament anglers there that can show you, how to properly photograph a fish how to use Tourney X. I mean, we can do it all hands-on and in person, so that'll be a great learning way, a great learning tool for people that are just wanting to get in on the sport as well. Or if you just want to come hang out and float and meet everybody and help clean up the river, that's awesome too. I'm going to provide lunch for everybody. We'll pull off on a gravel bar, around lunch and cook up some food for everybody and do a little swimming or something. We'll end up the float trip down at Hootentown Campground. I've got an area there reserved. They said it'll hold 10 tents, but I think it's a little bigger. And as long as you're not getting there too late, there shouldn't be a problem with, space. They only charge per tent. So if you've got a family and you're going to be in one tent, you've only got one fee to pay, and that's $12. So $12 per tent per night. It's a pretty decent rate, and we'll be right there on the water, right there at the end of the float. It's a pretty nice swimming hole right there too. So, I think we've got some cornhole coming. We're going to barbecue. We're going to have a casting contest. We'll have some games and stuff, and just hang out and have a good time. Enjoy that we can finally get back to normal. Get back to nature.
Yeah,
it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, definitely a good time, especially just going out and relaxing, not worried about a tournament or fishing or
no money on the line, no stress, no nothing. We're just gonna hang out. We're gonna relax and have a good time.
Yeah, definitely well needed, especially after coming off these last few weeks and having all these tournaments and whatnot. It should be a definite good time. Well, man, let's get into the kayak tip of the week. Hydration. I don't know about you, but Saturday and Sunday I was fishing and it got hot, and I was so glad that I brought some water and I've got a Yeti that I put some ice in it, and the ice usually lasts all day and stays cold. But I think if I didn't have that, man, it would have been rough.
Yeah, it's that time of the year, when you're out on the water in the sun, it's going to take its toll on you. So you got to keep drinking water. I mean, take plenty of water when you go out. I take a cooler with me full of ice. I get a bag of ice. I take a couple bottles of water, and some Gatorade or something. And I pretty much just kind of eat on ice and drink ice water all day, So that's how I keep myself hydrated. But, a lot of anglers will get out there and they'll start competing or fishing, and they're so focused on what they're doing, they forget to take a break and stop and take a drink. And now that we're getting into these summer months, when that temperature is going to get up there in the 90s and the hundreds, you have to stay hydrated or your body's just going to overheat. And having a heat stroke in a kayak is not a good thing. That's not going to turn out well. So stay hydrated and stay safe. If drinks, slam some water before the night before. Get really hydrated. Take water with you when you go on the water. Take ice. Take a little cooler. And plan on that every time you go out to have some fluids, so you can stay hydrated.
Yeah, definitely. Even if you get to a spot there, where you're fishing, where maybe you can get to a bank and get off your kayak and maybe even just take a dip, get in the water and cool your body temp down. I mean, that would make a huge difference,
Yeah, for sure.
Well, cool, man. I'm excited about our guest, man. Excited to get into that interview. Glad he came on here. We've talked about him quite a bit, and glad he came on here and talked to us, and we'll get into that. Hey, guys. Well, we've got our special guest for tonight. Guy just tore it up through the month of May. Did an amazing job, and we are excited to have him on here. We've talked about him a lot, kind of going through his accolades and all that good stuff. Tourney X, he has 116 total tournaments. 78 of them have been top 10 finishes, which 67% of that he's finishing in the top 10. That's awesome.
I know, it's ridiculous. That's why they call him McNasty.
He has 36 top 3 finishes, so 36 times he's finished in the top 3. His personal best bass, 22 inches. He is the 2019 KBF Central Regional Angler of the Year. Richie McMichael. Richie, man, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing great, guys. Thanks for having me.
Man, thanks for coming on here. We've talked about you quite a bit and random segments and heard about you and glad you're on here. I'm kind of disappointed you beat me, but we'll get past that. Well, cool, man. Glad to come. Thanks for coming on here. Appreciate that. I mean, just tell us about yourself, man. What you got going on in life, and how you got into kayak fishing.
Yeah, well, I spent about 14, 15 years in a boat. And then there for a while, I just lost a kind of passion for fishing for a while. I don't know, started getting old until then Josie Stone up here in Kansas City, he started the Northeast Kansas Kayak Anglers. So, and that's where I got started in a kayak. At first, I kind of resisted it because, like, man, I got this big boat in the garage. Why do I need to get a little kayak like that? But I'm really glad I gave in and started kayak fishing, because the last 6 years of kayak fishing, it's been incredible. It's been an incredible journey so far. And I just started out fishing local events for a while, like with Northeast Kansas Kayak Anglers, and they have a club in Wichita. And then, so I've done that for a while. I won the first 3 Angler of the Years for NECA. And then I won also another local club Angler of the Year.
Wait. Say that again. Did you just say you won 3 years in a row Angler of the Year? 3 years in a row Angler of the Year.
And wow. 2017, I won 2 Angler of the Years and 2 Kansas clubs. So that's kind of where I got to the point. It's like, man, maybe I should start kind of going out there and kind of traveling a little bit more and kind of see what I can do. Like in 2018, they started the Midwest Kayak Fishing Series. And that's kind of where I found this lake I fish now that I've been going to, getting mid-90s, low 90s every time. But yeah, and I kind of wanted to move out. And I know there's a lot of great sticks up in Nebraska because they were putting on the Midwest Kayak Fishing Series, and I just kind of want to get out and travel a little bit more and just kind of compete with a bunch of different people, and ended up winning that Midwest Kayak Fishing Series Angler of the Year in 2018 as well. And it was a little unique because I didn't really get into the online stuff before, but I know they had part of their Angler of the Year was online stuff, so that's when I started searching for lakes with big bass. I'd go into a local tackle shop. I'd ask the owners, like, man, what lakes around here do you hear, that are good, that have big bass? So he kind of made a list for me. So that's kind of where I got to step up. So he made a list of where all the big fish lakes were. So, and some of them were good. Some of them weren't so good. So I wasted some time. But I found a few really nice, good lakes because of that. And, I just kind of kept going. In 2000, I made the 10 also in 2018. I ended up, the only way to get to the 10, I had to go out to Lake Erie. And it was like a 13-hour drive. And I've never went over like 6-7 hours for a tournament before. So that was kind of unique, going up there and fishing like different body of water up there. And that's kind of, and then 2019, I just kept on doing what I do. I kept traveling. Went down to Texas a lot. I've been going to totally different lakes I'd never fished before because of the kayak scene. And I ended up winning the 2019 Central Division. That's just been a fun journey so far, man. And just can't wait to see where it goes from now, and looking forward to all these live events kicking in again.
But, yeah, I think we're all really ready for it.
Absolutely.
It's going to be good to get back together with everyone, and be able to put some names with some faces, and especially the new guys. They may just kind of go out in their own deal, but meeting new people and guys that fish and going fishing with them and making plans, and that's how I've met so many guys and gone fishing with them is those live events. And I really like what you've talked about. You kind of hit on almost all some of the questions we're going to ask you. And speaking of Kansas, we see you fish the monthlies in Kansas and Missouri. I mean, what if you could pick one state? You can only fish one of those between Kansas and Missouri. Which one would you pick, man?
That's an easy choice. That's Missouri. I can go to 5 or 6 different lakes in Missouri and catch in the 90s. I don't know one lake in Kansas I can do that with, except for maybe Bone Creek, I guess. But it would be Missouri for sure.
Yeah. Speaking of that, how many lakes did you actually fish during the bracket challenge? Did you stick with 1 or 2, or did you bounce around to a whole bunch of different lakes?
It was my main lake, but I did bounce around a bunch of different lakes. And it just kind of seems, it's kind of weird because every lake I have that can produce is about 2 hours from me, which in any direction I go, if I go north, northeast, east, southeast, it's always 2 hours about where these lakes are at. But I got like 5 or 6 of them. Yeah, I bounced around quite a bit, and I even checked out some new lakes because of it too. So, and I found another lake that's pretty decent. Caught my biggest fish of the year there. So, and I think it was 2 weeks ago. I know our online started at 6 o'clock. I caught a 21 3/4 at 5:56.
Oh,
so
man.
I can only use it for the monthly, and I couldn't use it for the online or the weekend. But I still made it through the week, so that was good. But
oh man, yeah, it's rough when I mean, what was that, 7 weekends in a row? I mean, when you got to get out there each weekend and grind it, and like you were talking about with these onlines, it kind of gets to where you're chasing that big bass. You're looking for these spots that have these 20-inch and above fish. It's almost like you're going out looking for 20 plus fish, and that's the only goal. And so I know what that grind feels like. It can get on you. I mean, does that wear you out over time?
Oh yeah, I'm exhausted. That's kind of why I really wanted to take this weekend off, because it's just been go every single weekend. But I really haven't been fishing till 6 o'clock. I've usually just been fishing till I get up really early, like 2:30 in the morning, to drive 2 hours to the lake. I get there extra early, just make sure I'm the first one there in my spot. Yeah, it's a grind. I'm ready for a break. There's a couple tournaments this weekend I wanted to go to, Kentucky Lake, but I just need a little break. I might just stay local, maybe fish Melbourne. I know NECA has a tournament at Melbourne this weekend, so I might just stay home, stay local, and just fish that one for fun. And I don't fish Melbourne very much, so might as well go down there and just pick a spot and go have fun fishing instead of this constant grind.
Yeah,
but this bracket challenge has been extremely fun, though. I'm glad you guys did it. It's been exciting.
Yeah, it seems like it's spreading. A lot of people are doing it. It's a really cool concept. I think we'll see next year kind of evolve into something even more. So yeah, it's been a lot of fun.
I know it's been great, but I know one thing that's going to be tough for that thing to go all year is people that do live tournaments it's going to be tough for them to be able to sign up for that.
Yeah, and I was even talking to some of the guys at KBBT about that. I mean, with now we're getting back to normal, and when we're traveling, the guys that do hit the road, we can't be stuck into one region or one state to fish in these onlines. So participation could go down, but it's still a good concept. I mean, it would be cool to see it happen on all, like a live event on one lake, a 2 or 3 day event bracket challenge on one lake. I think that would be something pretty cool to see.
Yeah, I think that would be pretty neat. Mm-hmm.
I think the biggest reason it came about is, because of the pandemic, but it was perfect for the pandemic when there wasn't live events. And I think that's why guys ate it up. But still, I mean, it's very cool concept and very smart of, whoever thought about it came up into it. Maybe it was a, March Madness fan. He's like, well, forget this. I'm going to make my own one, and so.
It was Greg Noser. And he was a March Madness fan, mad because the basketball championship got canceled, tournaments got canceled. And so.
Yeah, and I know that I wish I would have knew about the first bracket they had. I didn't get signed up in time for that. That would have been fun because I didn't have any tournaments going on. And I would love to see what would have happened, how far I could have made it there. But
yeah, that was not good for me. I went up against Brad Case in the first round, and he put the smack down on me.
Brad's a good angler, man.
Yeah. And I'm kind of like you too. There's not a lot of good water, in my area that's close by where I can go catch big fish. I got to travel a little ways and go search for, basically strip pits are about the best thing around me right now. But then there's so many of them, you got to explore them forever. So it gets challenging just exploring. But at the same time, that's kind of a fun part about the online tournaments is getting out there, exploring new water and trying to find these, spots that you've never been to for, spots that may have some monster bass in them.
Yeah, I know after looking for these kind of lakes and stuff for these onlines, there are so many good lakes around northern Missouri, northeast Missouri, north central Missouri that people just don't even fish and don't know about them. I know I guess one easy, I shouldn't be telling people this, but one way people can find these is they can call up their local MDC official, and they go out to these lakes. They shock them all the time. They know what fish is there, and they usually tell you where the highest are, the lakes with the biggest fish and the most fish. So that's a way to do it. So you're just not going out blind to certain lakes and stuff like that. It'll save you some travel that way.
Yeah, they've got on the Missouri Department of Conservation website, they've got not all the lakes, but they've got a bunch of lakes where they show the latest shocking reports and what the average length of the fish was that they caught in there. That can be a good tool when you're researching, looking for some of these spots.
I wish Kansas did the same thing, but I can go up to all these Missouri websites and they'll tell you exactly how the fishing is going to be, how many percentage of the fish are over 15 inches, over 18 inches. So that's good to know before you even travel to the lake.
Yeah, that's something I think that gets overlooked a lot. I mean, we talk about Missouri having some great lakes for us to bass fish in, but we've got a great Department of Conservation as well. Our conservation department does an incredible job at providing these access points, providing the good fishing that we have in Missouri. I believe we were the first state ever to implement a state tax that actually went into the Department of Conservation, from state revenue. So, hats off to the Department of Conservation.
Yeah, I know they do some work. That's why every time I go to Cabela's or something, I always round up for the conservation department. So
there you
go. Richie, we just came off of Table Rock, and we saw some success from some guys, and like Josh and I talked about, we struggled. You finished, I think you finished 12th on one day and 8th on the other. I think in 2018 you finished first. You won that tournament there at Table Rock for MoYak. What is your goals or your keys for consistency there at Table Rock?
Well, Table Rock's one of those lakes because I don't think I won Table Rock. I won, I think, 2018 Taneycomo.
Okay,
Table Rock, I've never done that. I've been in the top 10 and every time on Table Rock, but I've never can get over the hump and win that tournament. I think for me, since Table Rock's one of those lakes that I fished a lot out of a boat in boat tournaments, it really didn't do me any good because just fishing out of a boat, you go to the same ramp and the payouts aren't very good. So you don't want to run your boat dry and run all over the lake and stuff. You basically kind of want to stay within, the area that ramp is in. But other than that, I think what hurts me on Table Rock is I like to go to the shallow water, go up the rivers and stuff like that and catch largemouth. I think, and after the last few terms, you can kind of see the people that are on top of the leaderboard are consistently catching decent sized smallmouth. So, and that's just kind of not my strength as a smallmouth fishing. I like fish shallow, fish for largemouth. But next time I go to Table Rock, I'm going to change things up and try to go after smallmouth.
Yeah, man, I'm looking at here. It's the MoYak 2018 Classic, Table Rock Lake. It's got you as first, man. So you have one on.
Maybe I did. Maybe. Oh, that's right. I remember that now. Okay.
So many wins you can't even keep track. You don't even know anymore.
My bad. That's right. I did win Table Rock that year. I got that was the Midwest Kayak Fishing Series 1-2, and I got third in that one and got first. Okay.
Yeah, that was the last year of the live events for the Midwest, I think.
But yeah, and I found a pretty decent creek in the back. When the fish are there at Table Rock, they're there. It's going to be hard to beat, but it's just sometimes they're just not in that area, and it's hard to, whenever you'd only have a 1 day to pre-fish, it's hard to go find them. If someone had 2 or 3 days to go pre-fish, then it'd be a different story. But I think because Table Rocks to me is like that. You got to go find. Sometimes 1 week they'll be in a creek, another week they'll be in a different creek biting. So, but it's just kind of in a kayak thing. You kind of either got to be prepared to move or just kind of grind it out in the area you go to. So
you talked about you were going to take a little bit of a break. You're going to probably fish with Nika this next weekend. After that, I mean, are you going to head up to La Crosse? Are you going to hit the Hobie or the Bass Nation event up there? Because I'm
Yeah,
looking forward. I'm heading up there. I can't wait.
yeah, I'll be fishing both river tournaments, the Mississippi River with bass and hook. I definitely want to try to hit 3 Hobies for sure. And my schedule's all messed up. I'm sure everybody's is. I don't know when a lot of these tournaments are going to be rescheduled or what's in the future now. But I definitely want to hit another KBF trail somewhere. Maybe I'll go to Conway. I don't know. We'll see. The issue with that is for me is not being able to get off work the next couple of weeks. Just driving up after work Friday, no pre-fishing time. But other than that, I just need to take stay close to home the next few weeks and then kind of see from there. The Mississippi River is definitely on the schedule. I wanted to go to Chickamauga this year, but obviously that was canceled. I'm not sure if they rescheduled that or not.
Yeah, I think they did reschedule that back to September or October. I think it got rescheduled for bass.
The schedules are going to be really busy in October.
Oh no, the KBF National Championship too. They got the days Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. It's a 3-day event that ends on Friday, so that's going to be kind of strange too. Are you still planning on going to that? For the team cup?
I'm actually going to try to be there all week. I'm going to hopefully be there all week. Try to get some pre-fishing days in for that lake because there's a lot of stuff on the line there. A lot of cash to be won. So.
Oh man, yeah. If you're in all 3 events, which a lot of people are going to be, yeah. If you can get on them, ooh. I mean, and plus, they got a lot of making up to do from from everything being shut down. So, I think KBF's going to put on a pretty good event for the national championship, and I think someone's going to walk away with a ton of money, and it could be a fun topwater bite. So I'm hoping that I'm one of those guys that walks away with that money too.
Yeah, I know I've never been to Guntersville, but I've kind of done research and stuff like that. So
yeah, I've never fished it either. We camped out there when we went to the FLW event on Nickajack. Our campsite was actually on Guntersville, but we fished on Nickajack. But it looks nice, man. If you like throwing a frog, I think we're gonna have a good time.
Yeah, and it's probably gonna be pretty crowded, but that's okay.
Yeah, I think that's maybe why they moved us to Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. That way we don't have to deal with the weekend boat traffic. Or
True.
I don't know. Makes sense though.
So Richie, last year you ended up fishing or being the angler of the year for the Central Region. What are your goals for 2020 as far as KBF, bass, Hobie, MoYak? What are you looking to accomplish this year?
Well, yeah, for like KBF, you always want to make the 10 every year. That's kind of, I'm sure, everybody's goal. Last year, I had something come up with my job, so I couldn't do the championship, KBF championship there in Wisconsin, and that was a bummer, man, because I knew I probably would have made the 10 if I would have went.
I think you would have.
And I didn't think I wouldn't have had to do much either to make it, but things come up. I had some important stuff to do with work, so but yeah, and that's always my goal, to make the 10. I also wanted to win that orange camo Hobie from the Hobie Angler of the Year, but that's going to be a tough thing to win. There's a lot of awesome anglers in that. I know one guy already has a first and third place finish, so that's going to be hard to beat that. But just making the turn, but just simple goals: make the 10, make the Tournament of Champions. Already qualified for the next year's Bassmaster Classic in Lake Fork, so that goal is taken care of. And finishing high in the MoYak Club too, and I want to win or finish really high for the team tournament as well. And one of the things I want to do is qualify for the All-American as well. There's not too many times that you get a chance to fish for big money around this area. Because in Truman, if I were to say I would have a home lake, I'd say it's probably Truman. It's like less than 2 hours from my house. I've fished it a lot. fished a lot of tournaments down a boat there.
Oh my gosh. Are you saying that oh man.
So I'm excited to fish Truman, man. I know the lake pretty well, but
we
the
might
thing
have to change locations of the tournament. I don't know. We
thing
might just cut him a check right now.
But the thing with Truman is, I know where all the good water is, but you couldn't run there unless you knew the lake extremely well, because you'd rip your motor off. I've seen more people get towed in at Truman Lake than anywhere else. It's pretty dangerous if you don't know what you're doing. So
yeah, Everhart's is actually working on a map too that's going to show us all the access points and launch points. Even dead end roads and sides where we can just park. I'm not talking about boat ramps. We're talking about local knowledge, and that's going to be awesome to have. They should have that ready for us pretty soon, which is going to be pretty cool, because Truman is public. There's a lot of places where you can just launch anywhere you can park.
I never really looked at the Truman's map before, because you put it in at one spot and you go drive. I've never noticed, but I was kind of looking the other day and I noticed there's so many places you can put in all over that lake, and I didn't realize that. And there's some, and I know Truman Lake is a current lake. If they're moving water there, I have spots you can sit on and catch them all day. But when they're not moving water there, it gets kind of tough sometimes. So you kind of got to know where to go and fish when they're not moving water as well. So I probably spent more time on Truman than anywhere else. So, but that doesn't mean anything. So
are you going to be at the MoYak event, our next Truman event? Yeah, on June 27th.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we'll find out.
Going down. That's why I kind of wanted to take this weekend off, because I wanted to go down there and spend the week before there and just kind of check a few spots. But I don't know.
I'll be looking for you on there. I'll be following you around.
But some of my good spots that I've fished in a boat I can't get to, because there's no launch place close to it. But I could get there if I have a Torpedo by then, so we'll see.
Yeah, and maybe you'll find some secret launch point on that new map we're about to see that you don't know about.
Oh man. Hey, Richie, we put on Facebook, just kind of questions that, guys are asking and wondering, and one of them was, how do you approach water that you've never been to? And you don't necessarily have to apply it to Truman, but, water that you haven't been to, what is your kind of game plan and your way of maybe pre-fishing it or just showing up blind?
Like a lot of times I do show up blind, and kind of things what I do, even if I have one pre-fishing day, like I'll look at the map, I'll look at Google Maps, and I'll look at Navionics and stuff. And I'll circle three or four areas on that lake, and I'll just totally forget about anything else. I'll just concentrate on those areas. And what I want in those areas I guess it kind of depends on what time of year it is. I want defined creek channels. I want to, if I'm fishing the spawn or something in the spring, I want to find an area that's closest to really deep water. I want a lot of secondary points, and I want to be able to fish every kind of in the backs. I want to be able to fish middle of the cove, outside the cove, main lake areas. I want as many things I can fish in that area. And definitely you got to have your creek channels, and channel swings, stuff like that. I kind of look for that. There always has to be deep water anywhere close to those fish, for them to pull out on. And it's hard to do. And I kind of want to look at bottom contour as well. It's, whether it's rocky, pea gravel, mud, stuff like that. And certain times of year, it'll determine what I'm looking for. Sometimes I want a 45-degree bank, and I'll kind of look for those. Sometimes I kind of want bluff walls. And that's a good thing about Navionics. You can kind of see all that stuff on there. And having Google Earth and Navionics right next to each other. But one thing I do not do when I go to a new lake, I think this is kind of important. I do not want to know what the locals are catching fish on. I don't want to know what they're doing. I want to take my strengths and my game and go do that in a different lake. I've so many times, like the first few times down at Lake Fork, I didn't do very well because I kind of wanted to do what the locals do and kind of do their way of fishing. But you have to be able to, no matter where you go, you want to be able to fish your strengths, and that's kind of I think the key for me is I don't get tied up with what other people are doing. I want to go fish what I'm competent in fishing. So that's kind of how I look at it. So
yeah, you got to watch out for that dock talk. Sometimes that dock talk can get you.
It's got me forward.
Yeah, I can get you all stuck on one pattern and you just think this is it, and then you're just all spun out on tournament day because you're not even sure what to do because you've been listening to everybody else instead of just doing your own thing. I've been there, man.
So I try not to look at fishing reports. I know it kind of sounds, a lot of people do that, but I don't want to see a fishing report. I don't want to see any of that stuff. I just want to go do what I do and look for areas that I've caught fish before in the past and just go fishing.
Well, that's cool, man. And, I'm sure the guys appreciate it, especially coming from you where you've done so well. And really, that kind of blew my thought process. I get on YouTube and, we went to Table Rock. There's, Focus Fishing. There's another guy that does, YouTube, and they do those local fishing reports. And I'm like, oh, well, these guys got to know. But, I mean, the lake changes, stuff changes, stuff happens.
That's like I don't think those guides really were on them either. So I don't think getting information from them would have done you any good. So
no, just like on our last podcast with Watson on here, and what was his biggest word of advice? He was like, "Man, you guys are in for it." He didn't even really know what was going on, and that's I
was kind of excited for it because I think it's 2008 or 2009. It's been a while, but I fished Table Rock when it was 17 foot high. And in the boat tournament, and me and my boat, I was with another guy, he the boater, I was a non-boater. We both got top 2 in our club that year, and all the fish were back in the flooded trees and they were easy to catch. That's why I was kind of excited for it. But when we got down there, it was a lot tougher than I thought it would be. So
definitely,
it was definitely tough. Well, Richie, man, is there anybody you want to say thanks to or give a shout out to or anything like that?
Yeah. I'm not Bass Mogul. I know they sponsored MoYak and stuff, but they kind of hooked me up with a lot of gear and stuff like that. So definitely appreciate that. They keep me comfortable on the water. I like their fishing shirts and stuff. They're really thin. They keep me cool during the days. And their rain gear is
comfortable
and stylish and stuff like that. But other than that, I don't really have many sponsors. I do have my Trophy Bass Company shirt on. I'm not sponsored by them or anything, but I use their bait, almost everything they make. It's very good quality stuff, man. They have a spinner bait that's, I think, one of the best spinner baits you can buy. So they're a great company. I think Casey Scanlon's part owner of it, and he helps design the baits too. So they're very good quality baits, and I cashed a lot of checks on their jigs and spinner baits. So but other than that, I guess I can thank my wife. If I'm sure she's going to listen to it. She works on the weekends, all weekend at the hospital, so I'm able to go fishing whenever I want on the weekends, and she's the reason why I'm able to get out and fish all the time. So
that's awesome, man. That's cool.
Always got to give a shout out to the wives.
Definitely, definitely. Well, Richie, man, appreciate you coming on here, man. Congratulations again on the May Madness tournament, man. You duked it out, and you took down some good sticks too, man. You did a good job.
That bracket I thought our bracket was pretty in that, I don't know, southeast or whatever we were in. There was a lot of good anglers in there. It was tough. So
yeah, for sure.
But yeah, guys, definitely appreciate you guys having me on here.
Yeah, man, we've talked about you so much. It's only, it'd be bad if we didn't bring you on here at some point, just talking behind your back the whole time. Josh, man, you got anything else from Richie?
No, man, I look forward to seeing you at Truman. If you want to come down to Conway, I'll let you know what's going on. We'll go catch some fish.
Yeah, if I go, I'll be driving down there Friday night and sleeping at the ramp. So
I'll be down there. We've even got a place to stay too. So you got if you want a place to crash, you got space.
I'm gonna have to think about it now then. So cool.
Well, cool, man. Thanks again, Richie. Appreciate it so much, man.
Yep. All right. Yeah. Have a good night, guys.
All right, you
Later.
too.